Howdy folks, Effing Controller here, back with more Uncharted Waters, New Horizons. We just purchased a bunch of copper ore. Very difficult trade good to trade for a profit in this area, so I do have to go back to Europe, unfortunately. So we've got a little bit of a trip ahead of us. Buckle up. I think buckling up on a ship is generally actually not a good idea, unless there's a storm. Which, hey, you know, given our history, we could run into dozens of those on the way back to Europe. Mozambique, fine port. Quelimane. Is there a port up here? There's a village up there sometimes, that's what I'm thinking of. That's what I was looking for, Sofala. It's not a myth, folks. It's an actual port. So to get back to Europe, since I don't have to stop in any of the West African ports, I'm going to try to avoid that stormy area of West Africa. So from Cape Town, I'm actually going to try to sail for Pernambuco. We'll see how that goes. And just to be absolutely sure that everything goes great, save the game. I'm a little bit nervous to just sail northwest here, because if I get... Let's actually look at the map. I think I'm good. I'll sail west for a little bit longer, and then we'll turn it northwest. And that should hopefully put us on a direct course for Pernambuco. We haven't gone over the edge of the world yet, which... Okay, there we go. It's making me a little nervous. Where are we? Oh, well, I overshot it. That's okay. How much food? Oh, yeah, guess what? We're just gonna go all the way. Guess what? We're gonna go all the way together. Bet you didn't see that coming in this video. Our relationship is, really progressing pretty rapidly, viewer. Where are we? We got a little ways to go north still. And then I'm gonna turn northeast. And let's do it now. Be kind of fun to do this without actually using the map. Ooh, I think... Oh no, I should be good because I'm north of Argent. And I have Balm anyways, but... I don't think I can get all the way to my next destination. I think I just... Oh, there it is, actually. I was gonna say I thought we just sailed past Madeira, but that's it there. We're heading to Hamburg. Because of course we are. It's the last European port that we will be trading in. Although we are most of the way done now. Your long nightmare is almost over, dear viewer. Congratulations. It's kind of odd that I saved Hamburg for so late, but I think it's because of this very trade good. Copper ore, like I was saying, very easy to buy in the area of East Africa. Difficult to sell profitably. We could sell it somewhere in Arabia, but then what would we buy in Arabia? There's not very many trade goods that are left that are actually sold in Arabia, so that kind of hems us in. really the trick of this whole thing. We've talked about that a little bit, but anywho, we're here in Hamburg. Hamburg has... Does it have a... I can't remember if it has good armor or weapons. It has good ships that you can build. But that requires investment, which we're not going to do just yet. So we've got all of this copper ore, which will sell quite well. And then Hamburg has a specialty good, which I could buy and then trade anywhere for a profit in the immediate area, but I'm going to have to take it all the way back to the Indian Ocean area. And then after that, after this little trip, we'll be spending almost the rest of the run there, which is, handy. This is our last little diversion. I try to keep these kinds of trips to a minimum when I plan this, just because it wastes time, and if you can trade these goods for a profit immediately in the area, it's ultimately better because you're not wasting so much time going back and forth between ports. The travel time is much lower if you don't have to go all the way back to Europe to sell your cinnamon and stuff like that. Even though you can get a better price for it here, it's maybe makes more money because you can do more runs. Economics, folks. This is edutainment, in case you didn't know. I'm bringing it back. Taking our dive back to the Middle East. I could stop and talk to the Sultan. I could go back to Istanbul and pay back my loans. There's no penalty for waiting. They don't charge additional interest. Would be kind of interesting if they doubled the interest, or like, made you pay another 10,000 after a year or something like that. But don't have to worry about it. Yes, we'll stop in Madeira. Okay. Well, there we go. And we'll do like we did before and sail to the southwest. Sure, I'm not gonna run into storms. Awesome. This is just a lot easier to do it this way. I used to, when I was playing this game growing up, if I ever had to go in between, or go from Europe to Southeast Asia like this, I oftentimes would go over the top of Europe and Asia. Just because I didn't want to deal with the storms. It took longer, but the storms are just so annoying. And I didn't know enough about the game to know that figureheads helped. I thought that they were just ornamental, I guess. I don't know. I knew about Balm. I don't know why I chose not to use it, though. I like Pain, I guess, is the reason why. We're saving the game, because I could theoretically run into a storm here. Just on the edge here. But we should make it to Cape Town with no trouble now. But I don't want to miss it. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm gonna head east. Because if I kept going southeast, I would just run into Antarctica. Which doesn't have any ports. There we go. Should do some kind of data dump in this game and see like if there's any kind of Easter eggs on the map. Like internally, if you go into landlocked areas, what the game does with that. If anything. Okay. Delightful. And we're taking our dye to Mecca. Which which I might be able to make in a single trip. You'll notice that we're actually making 20 knots. That's our maximum speed. That is hilariously fast for a sailing ship of this era. Don't worry about it. Don't question it. Remember, we're sailing in uncharted waters, folks. We don't know how anything really works. The rules have gone out the window. It's a new era. A new age is dawning. New horizons present themselves to us. I'm kind of tempted to check out these villages, especially because I think that the Sultan may want me to go and get discoveries for him before he wants me to do trade stuff for him. So it might be worth my while to check out some of those villages, but I have other business. This is Massawa here. I'm just going to discover that real quick. And then we'll discover Mecca here in a moment. Although Mecca is inland quite a bit. I think that the actual port should be Jeddah, but you know, that's a little bit technical. Remember, this is a Koei game from 1994. Let's not get too crazy here. I totally forgot how much I paid for my dye. It was like 90 some, 96. Okay, well, I mean, that's not great, but it'll do. We would get more for that, I think, just in Europe. Pretty sure. Where else would I profit off of that? India. Interesting. I could have taken that to India. Again, the problem, though, is what would I buy in India and where would I sell it afterwards? It's very technical. And we are going to buy musk. We're going to musk up just crates of Axe body spray. No mention of myrrh. We still need to figure out where to get that. Alright, we got musk. And that is going to take us to China. Or is it? How much should I pay for that? Hang on. Just noticed. 55. Okay, that will be a profit where I'm taking it. It's just it just always feels kind of funny to trade it for like a 10 gold profit. And I have to take it to a pretty far-flung port. Kind of annoying to get to, but it's necessary. We do use up all of the Chinese ports because they have interesting trade goods. We actually use up almost all of the Far East ports. The only one I don't use is Hanoi because it requires investment for a lot of the more interesting trade goods. I could run into a storm here. I should have saved a little bit earlier. But... oh well! Oh god, I thought that was going to be a storm. I think further south you can run into storms. You can also, along the equator, run into the equatorial doldrums. The game actually models some of those, where the wind just dies, just goes away. And that's not fun. In certain ships, that's no problem. If you have a ship like a La Real... oh, I should have thought about buying one of those. Damn. I was back in Europe. I could have bought one. Oh well. We'll be back eventually. It's gonna be a long time, but we'll be back. And I'm gonna scoot straight east here. I normally don't like doing this. But I was able to hold my tongue and say, we've been having really good luck sailing east across here. And we did have whoa, that guy's scooting. Going concern, look at this guy. Santino, you're an animal. 16 knots. Get down with your bad self. Pretty light wind in here. Should make it just fine. If not, there's a supply port near where I need to go. Or we could stop in Zayton, but I don't feel like it. Just don't wanna. I don't think I'll need the supply port. We're heading to Chang'an. There's a supply port there. But we don't need it. Sailing up the Yellow River. And you know what? I might actually scope out this village. We don't have very much food and water, unfortunately. I think we're gonna sail away. So, it's kind of unfortunate. One thing that's nice about the sloop is you can load up with food and water and adventure to your heart's content. But we have trade goods aboard, so we can't really do that. So I should be getting a profit here. Let's take a look, see what it says. $135, eh? That's a sizable profit. Didn't I pay? I'll just sell it, I guess. I was all worried that I wasn't going to get very much money for that. What was I thinking? Maybe I wasn't. Okay, silk cloth. Haggle that down to 21. And we're going to load up with 200 of that. All right. Just to be on the safe side, I will go ahead and check out this discovery. I feel kind of bad because there's another, well, there's technically the two remaining captains will be doing a lot of adventuring. You know what, I'm going to ignore it. I did a lot of discoveries playing as Ernst. I don't remember which ones I discovered. The game does randomly select which villages are available at the start of your game, I think. So I don't remember what I discovered in that one versus what I might discover in this one. So I'm just going to leave them alone. I will be able to get rank in this game pretty easily, I think. Although getting rank through trade is fairly difficult. There's my cow. There's my sheep. And my chicken. Don't laugh at that. If you're laughing right now, shame on you. So we're going to Aden. Finally gonna collect on our investment, I guess. Keep your fingers crossed here. Lovely. Yeah, that figurehead was worth it. I normally encounter a storm there pretty reliably. Go ahead and resupply. I would really love for some kind of sequel or spiritual sequel, at least, to be made to this game. They have made actual sequels to this, and there's an Uncharted Waters 2 Gaiden, which is was only released in Japan. It has some additional captains and items and things like that. But and they've made like Uncharted Waters Online. There's Costa del Sol. There's all kinds of versions of the game that were not ever released, or sequels to this game that were not ever released in the United States. But I want one that's basically just like this, except on like a more modern engine, and with a little bit more detail, a little bit more nuance in the trading systems, for instance. That would be ideal. Putting together a list, and I expect someone else to do the work for me. When we were playing this on Twitch, Lethal Feline came up with the idea of a randomizer, and that would be incredible. Having it randomize the ports alone would be a hoot. You have to figure out where each port is. Like, I don't know how easy it would be. I don't know any. I'm just moonshining here, but is that the right word to use? I don't know. I'm spitballing, perhaps, just throwing ideas out there. But you could, like, say, switch Aden with Copenhagen or something like that. Might be kind of fun. I don't know what effect that would have on the game, really, though. There's all kinds of different ways that could kind of permutate. We paid 21 for this, so this is a really decent profit. And meanwhile, we're going to be buying... What am I buying here? Oh yeah, that's right. We stopped here and looked to make sure that it was being sold. We're buying amber, and oh, we're taking this to our first Southeast Asian port. So let's load up with 200. And I'll go ahead and head to that next port in this episode. Southeast Asia is really a tricky part of this run. By Southeast Asia, I mean kind of the Spice Islands, Indonesia, Malaysia. What else would be part of those? What ports are in that area? That's pretty much it. Yeah, like Sumatra has a port. There's ports on Timor and Jakarta and all that kind of, or Java, I guess, is the island. But you'll see. Ternate, another one. I actually use Ternate in my route here. You might remember that from Silent Hunter 4. I think I pronounced it Ternate back in those days, but I'm much wiser now. Where am I going? Well, we talked about Southeast Asia, but do I want to? No. I'm gonna sail this way and not say anything other than saying that I'm saving the game. Fuck everything. I hate this game. That's horrible. I can't remember if those ever fail. Storm is gone, the night is upon us. What a horrible night to have a curse. Okay, and there should be a port on this side of Sumatra. Pasai, I think? Yeah. Just out of curiosity. I'm gonna see if they actually sell the trade good I'm looking for here. I think it's a specialty good, though, even within Southeast Asia. Negative. So the trick with these ports is that there's a couple tricks. First of all, to get access to some of the spices, you need to invest quite a bit in these ports. Some of them, however, will sell them without investment. I think that's how it works here. I'm just looking at the trade goods, and come to think of it, the one that I'm going to be buying next is a specialty good to Southeast Asia, and it's, well, I should say that differently. It's a specialty good that is particular to a couple of ports here in Southeast Asia, but not all Southeast Asian ports sell it. So, and come to think of it, I don't know how to get to... I always get confused on how to get to this port that I'm going to next. Is it up here? So this is Borneo up here. God bless it. You know what I'm gonna do? Just to give me a little helping hand. That's embarrassing. Where I get thrown off is that there's a port called Sunda and there's a port called Banda, and I'm going to Banda. That is a village with something that I don't want to get. I'm just going to leave that alone. I always get kind of lost in here. So this is Sulawesi. Shit. This has got to be a port down here. Dili should be here. Dili! I'm going to resupply because I have a feeling that I could potentially run out of food. Banda, not Sunda. Okay, I'm just... Don't worry about me. I'm fine. I think it's over here. I think this is it here. Yeah, buddy. Okay, we've made it to Banda. And we will trade here in the next episode and continue on our route. I'll see you guys then.